Once again, my name is Nick. I am in the lead in the studio. Show you all the best stuff. We cannot make the journey today without our driver, Sam. So I need everybody to give it up for Sam. She's going to be driving us around today. She's doing the heavy lifting. But we're on our way. And not just the two of us on the tour. We do have a very special guest. You might know him from a show called The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Believe it or not, it's Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there! You made it! Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide,
Nick.
and the greatest driver,
Sam.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Nick.
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Yeah, we got a couple quick safety rules to go over. Now, first and foremost, just remain seated during the entire tour. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Now, if anyone experiences a medical emergency, or maybe you drop something of value or cannot wait to use the restroom, you're going to reach up and grab this red cord. It runs all along the center of the ceiling of the tram. That'll get our attention up here, and then we will stop, and then I'll come back to help you. Other than that, sit back, relax. The studio is private property, so if you do drop something, just pull that cord and we'll stop and then I will go grab it. There are a couple times during the tour, though, if you want to drop something, it would be very unsafe for me to go grab your broken iPhone. So hold on tight to that stuff. We don't want anything to get too wet or too shooken up, which we are going to have fire effects, water effects, and sudden movements. So hold on tight to those belongings. No smoking of any kind on the tour. And without that, we are on our way. Let's kick it off officially. I'll get the music going. If you know the words, feel free to sing along, everybody. And then take a look at some of our movie posters here to the right. Oh, we got some beautiful singers in the first card. Now, our little timeline of posters here, we've been making movies for quite some time. If you look to your screens, you're going to see some photos of our opening day ceremony, March 15th, 1915. So quick math, and let's see, 14 days, we're going to be celebrating our 111th birthday. Crazy. And we've been making movies here ever since. Carl Emily, our founder, he wanted to dedicate a city to filmmaking, and this is that city. We are technically a real city. We have our own zip code. We used to have a post office and a bank on the lot. We even have, coming up on your right, a real working fire station. Oh, looks like they might be out on the call. They're always ready. Fire Station 51. Now the number 51 is a reference to an older television show called Emergency in the 70s. They were Fire Station 51 on that show. But we reference our real-world fire station in other projects we do. If anyone watches Chicago Fire, they have a Fire Station 51 on that show. There's also an episode of Friends where Phoebe burns down the apartment. Fire Station 51 is the one that shows up to put out the flames. It's quite the commute from LA to New York, but they figured it out. Now we head down a little further. Right behind me, coming up, you're going to see Soundstage 12. It's one of our older sound stages. It's built back in 1928, and it's also our largest. It's about 30,000 square feet. It's almost the size of my home. Pretty spacious. But look to your screens. Here's some big movies that filmed in there over the years. Frankenstein, Dracula. One of my favorite kids' movies filmed in there. It's called Scarface. That's what an empty soundstage looks like. These essentially are like a big warehouse with soundproofing on the walls, the ceiling. Make all of these buildings to your left about 98% soundproof, which is great. We want to keep the sound out, essentially. During the week, there's loud vehicles and crew people, shouting at each other. But when we're inside filming, we don't want to hear any of that. Currently, They've been filming the new season of HBO's Hacks right inside, starring Gene Smart. But these stages have been here since the early 1940s. Soundstage 7 we're passing now not only filmed shows like Superstore, but it's where Alfred Hitchcock filmed parts of Psycho. So they've seen some use. Everywhere that we're going to see on the studio tour today, we'll use for filming as well. Even things you see like, oh, why would they use that? There's always a reason. For instance, take a look to your left. You're going to see like this parking structure down this way. Believe it or not, that is where they park the cars. Yeah, very exciting. No, they'll use that for filming. If anyone remembers CSI, the original CSI filmed here. Anytime they found a body in a parking lot, it was in that parking structure. Now, there's 200,000 bodies have been found right inside there. Amazing. Most of it for filmmaking. Right next to us, to your left, Soundstage 14. It's one of my favorite sound stages. Some of my favorites have been filmed in there. The original Jurassic Park. The scene where Dr. Grant and Timmy are trying to get down the tree and the SUV falls down after them. Filmed inside there. John Carpenter's The Thing, starring Kurt Russell. A lot of that filmed in that same soundstage. And they also filmed the top of Mount Crumpet and How the Grinch Stole Christmas was filmed in that same stage as well. Now, coming up on your right, the stages we're going to pass by, sometimes referred to as our sitcom stages, have been used for a lot of TV over the years. Take a look to your screens, and this is just a taste of some of the shows that filmed. You're right. Now the last stage we're going to pass for a minute or so, on your right, Soundstage 19. It used to be a home to a show called The Good Place, and Mr. Mayor with Ted Danson, but also where they filmed part of Oppenheimer with Cillian Murphy. All the scenes that took place in the Oval Office with Gary Oldman filmed inside there. To your left, our first celebrity sighting, Ted the teddy bear. Ted is out here, not only because Universal made the Ted movies, there's a Ted prequel series in the works right now. They're filming the second season starting very soon. Ted and John go to high school, if you have not seen the first season, and it films all over our lot. These little buildings to our left are referred to as our production bungalows. This is where writers and directors and producers get everything ready before filming takes place, in what we call the pre-production phase. And some pretty famous people work in here. Take a look at some of the parking signs. Let's see, Justin Spitzer, he created Superstore. Kevin Williamson, he just had a movie that he directed, came out called Scream 7. He also created the Scream movies. He wrote the first few. Also, Mike Schur has an office back here if you like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Parks and Recreation. If you're a fan of movie musicals, to your left, Mark Platt Productions. They brought you the Wicked movies to the big screen. But the most famous bungalow we have is coming up on your left, 5195 with a little black and white silhouette. That was Alfred Hitchcock's personal office. The master of suspense.
My name is Alfred Hitchcock. We all know you've met sometime. She's like
Now the stages we're going to pass currently to our left is where they're filming the show St. Denis Medical. It stars David Allen Greer, Wendy McClendon Covey from Reno 911. As we pass by, you'll see kind of the cast photo there to the left. And then we are kind of going off the beaten path right now. For the past couple months, this area was closed. This just opened fully today, actually. Sometimes big secret projects will film out here and we don't always know what they are. But we are heading into our Metropolitan sets to see the big city. We got tall buildings, alleyways, if you want to beat somebody up. We can do it all. For instance, take a look across the street to your right. You're going to see those brownstone buildings. And then take a look to your screens.
Raise the dog! I'm in the shower!
And then look back to your right, back to your screen, back to the right. while you're filming. So this was Buffalo, New York, and Bruce Almighty. And then as we pull forward a little more, a lot of you might recognize this next spot, but as we turn, take a look to your left as we head to a little town called Hill Valley, California. The building to your left has changed a little bit over the years, but this is Courthouse Square, where we filmed the Back to the Future films. Picture here, I'll pause it on your screens. Take a look at the courthouse as you see it in the Back to the Future movies. There's those big columns. But then if you look to the left, it looks a lot different. This movie became too big of a hit, which is a good problem to have. They covered up the old courthouse back there. It's still back there. It just has that facade of the city hall on top of it. All the bricks and the stonework is all actually plywood. So if we need to pull it all down, it'll all come down very, very easily, and we can change it to whatever we need. Let's say we want to film all sorts of different movies. Not just Back to the Future, but To Kill a Mockingbird, Psycho 2, to name a few. Now, the street we're pulling onto now is called New York Street. It's the longest metro street that we have. This has been used for so many productions over the years. Some of my favorites. If you've seen the first Transformers movie, the end of that movie where all the buildings explode and Shia LaBeouf is running down the street. Filmed here, Captain America, the first Avenger, when Steve Rogers gets the super soldier serum and runs down the street after the taxi cab. It's all right here. Batman and Robin, when Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, freezes the city of Gotham. This is the frozen city of Gotham. Some Spider-Man have been here in the past. This black building to your right. In Spider-Man 2, Dr. Octopus throws a car into a cafe. This is where they filmed that entire stunt. So if you're going to go to a real city and throw cars around into buildings or blow things up, most cities will say no. But if you come here, we'll just dress it up to look like wherever we want, and we can destroy kind of whatever. Take, for instance, this clip from the Blues Brothers.
When the Pinto fell, and you saw it land and make this big hole in the street, that was on the back lot. You dropped it from a crane. You dig like that in Chicago,
Yeah, to see how deep that hole is. If you went to the real city of Chicago and started digging up a hole, you would hit sewage, power, and things like that. Here, we don't have any of those things underneath the ground, so we can kind of remove as much as we need and, destroy it, change it. We just ask filmmakers to put things back how they found them. The area we're currently passing by, this little grassy area to your left, is called London Square. It's kind of more of a modern day part of London. It's also used in Agent Carter, the Marvel show, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a few times. I'm going to show another clip here, give it a little bit more of a montage. These are all scenes that have filmed at night out here, but sometimes when it's night, it's actually the middle of the day. If you look on your screens where I paused it, they actually covered all of the metro sets with the black fabric and filmed this movie, Streets of Fire, mostly during the day. And if you look to your right, gorgeous view of our Universal Monster mural. That whole mural was done by one guy named Tristan Eaton. Freehand with spray paint. Found something. And if you look to your left, you're going to see sound stages 30 and 31. That is where we filmed The Voice. The Voice soon be filming its 30th season. They do 2 seasons a year. They've always got activity going on, so they'll be back here probably in a couple weeks getting ready for the new season. Right next to The Voice, Soundstage 33 is where they film Reba McEntire's Happy's Place. This is kind of a classic sitcom setup, live studio audience, a whole bunch of cameras we call multicam, and it kind of films like a play almost. Everything kind of happens on the day, and they get everything done in just a few hours. Right next to us, this little body of water called Park Lake also gets used for filming. There's a scene, also in the Blues Brothers, where a Winnebago crashes into the water right out here. It's also where a certain creature lived a few years ago. The creature from the Black Lagoon. That's the entire Amazon River to your left. It's also where they filmed parts of the remake of Dawn of the Dead, one of Zack Snyder's early movies. Towards the end of that movie, they try to get to a boat dock, and this was all out here. Now, I showed you that clip from Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's one of our Universal monsters. We were about to head to the birthplace of the Universal monsters up ahead, in a place we call Little Europe. Just like the city sets we drove through, this can kind of be anywhere in Europe. Now, back in the 1920s, early 1920s, when this first place was built, they built this because getting to Europe for filmmaking was not really a thing, especially if you lived in Los Angeles. So we built our own Europe. This has been pretty much every major city in Europe. It's Paris, it's been part of the Vatican City, it's even been Port Royal in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. If you change the language on the signs and add something, you can make it anywhere you want. You may recognize this from The Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagements. This is the country of Genovia. The Muppets were here in 2011. This was Paris, France. Kermit the Frog had a date with Miss Piggy on this corner right behind me. It was also the home to a show called The Good Place. Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. Take a look.
I'll never show you like this.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife. Come on, I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
It's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is a bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
And then I'm going to show you the same sets about 90 years ago or so for our classic monsters.
What is it now? The monster. He's in the woods. Get out the bloodhound. He's all in the tent. Lock the women indoors and wait for me. I'm ready. Go. Your position, go.
Find out your something.
Now we're going to hang out for a minute and see what's going on up ahead. But before we do, a lot of the exterior sets we've so far seen are kind of hollow, empty shells of buildings. We have some exceptions, what we call practical sets, where you can film inside and out. To your left, this house is a practical set. The only difference is that you would just bring your own furniture and make it look however you wanted to set up. There are also in some of the ceilings, there are panels that can be removed that you can add special lights that the cameras wouldn't see. It has been featured in TV shows like Bel Air on Peacock. There was a show with Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live called Bubkiss. This is where his grandfather lived and they filmed out there. Also, there was one of my favorite Super Bowl commercials in the past couple years, if anyone remembers it, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he plays Agent State Farm. He jumps out of a burning building and he's like, "Be a good neighbor." That all filmed right here. So they'll do kind of whatever it is. The cool thing is this is on the tram route, so sometimes when they are filming, we get to be right here to see it. They were recently out here for a Little Caesars commercial with a whole bunch of NFL players, and they were throwing the ball around out in front of the house too. Now we are going to head inside of Soundstage 50. Now Soundstage 50 is kind of a unique soundstage because elements of it always are the same, but we can change things up. Now hold on tight to your belongings. You just don't want anything to fall out. It's kind of a pain to have somebody come in here. As we pull in, you're going to notice this is a subway. This is always a subway or a metro. We will just change signage around to make it like New York, Paris, or London, wherever we need it to be. And then, if you look to the left, there's even a little little railway. We can bring in a little metro. Okay, that's all right, everybody. We get shakes like this in SoCal. Okay, hold on, everybody. Let's bring in the big one. And sometimes they actually do use the effects. There's an episode of Bones with David Boreanaz where they actually did a big earthquake in one episode. But that was it's a little thrilling. I think maybe take it down a notch. Right up ahead, there's this beautiful little beach area, and it's still pretty warm. I think it's a great time to go relax at the beach. Now up ahead, there's a Amity welcome sign. We're gonna head to Amity Island. I don't like to gush about this a lot, but if you look to your left, this was my first modeling gig when I moved to Los Angeles. And I played the raft. Anyway, Amity Island has been having some shark trouble recently, but somebody came out here this morning and caught the shark. Pulled it right out of the water. So we should have smooth sailing up ahead. We'll pull up, maybe go dip our toes in the water. Oh, the music's not a great sign. It seems like somebody might be diving out there. Okay. As long as there's another shark in the water, it should be fine. Gross. Well, there's a lot of paperwork that we have to do when something like this happens. So we're going to leave. Actually, before we go, let's get up in the dock here with these large barrels of gasoline. Probably safe. Oh, the shark's taking part of the dock away back there. Anybody see that shark out there? Oh my gosh. Nobody sees that. Pretty still is there. Alright, once more for a good measure. Everybody, that is Bruce the Shark, the artist working shark and show business. Now, Steven Spielberg named his shark when they were filming the movie Jaws Bruce after his lawyer, Bruce Raymer, who is still working on it today. But if you ever watch like Finding Nemo, the shark in that movie is also Bruce. It's an homage to Jaws. Because that's what they named the shark. Our shark works great though. The original shark never worked properly. They put it in the Atlantic Ocean, but they never tested the mechanics in salt water. So it started to break and corrode almost immediately. So those of us that have seen the film, the shark is shown with point of view for a lot of it because the shark didn't work. So they had to kind of edit around it. We are going to pull into a place called Old Mexico now. We're going to show you how the weather works. Weather used to really enhance the movie. really add to the tension. So just the moment here will culminate with all the sound effects with the rain. Now this is all brought to us with some high-tech gadgets called sprinklers. You may notice in movies it always seems like it's really pouring. We need to make the rain a lot thicker and heavier for the camera. The camera has a hard time seeing real rain. So we'll make it nice and thick so you can see it. Sometimes we'll shine light behind it at night. Unfortunately, when it rains a lot, like this in Southern California, it can flood pretty quickly. Kind of like this. Now our flash player featured immediately fell liar on your screen for the water.
That's where it was building up.
Lady Gaga also filmed a music video called Judas, where she gets hit by the flash flood towards the end of the video, and she didn't even use a stunt person. We're going to pass by Amity once again. Now, Amity, the little lake here has been here since the 50s. They didn't add the attraction until the year after the movie came out. But if you look at the boathouse here to your left, it says Cabot Cove. It used to be Cabot Cove, Maine, for a television show called Murder, She Wrote with Angela Lansbury. And then we're going to head into a little neighborhood area right now. If you look to the houses to your left, that yellowish house is where Boo Radley lived in the movie To Kill a Mockingbird, played by Robert Duvall, who just passed away not too long ago. Down that street, also movies like Hancock with Will Smith, Garfield 2. To your right, the White House was Miss Mona's Chicken Ranch and the best little whorehouse in Texas, starring Dolly Parton. There's also the House of a Thousand Corpses by Rob Zombie. This one is also a practical set, so they can film in and out on that one. And then as we turn down this street, we are heading to Colonial Street. This is our longest neighborhood street, but a lot of people know it by another name, Wisteria Lane. This was where they filmed Desperate Housewives for all 8 seasons. The street has been here in this configuration though since the 80s. A lot of projects have filmed here over the years. Coming up on your left, the yellow house is where they filmed a show called Never Have I Ever on Netflix. It's where the main character Davey lived. It was also featured in a tiny bit of a movie called Cocaine Bear a couple years ago. A little further down, shows like Superstore have used this for picnics and barbecues. There's an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Sarah Michelle Gellar from the 90s that filmed out here as well. A lot of music videos filmed here as well. If anyone is familiar with Smash Mouth, their song All Star, that music video was filmed here. It is also featured in the movie Mystery Men, and the music video features a lot of the footage, but it's all on the street here. Now, when we come down here a little further, the first house coming up on your left, past this little tiny one, is where Keenan lived in the show Keenan with Kenan Thompson. He used to film Saturday Night Live and his show Keenan at the same time. He would fly back and forth. Right next to this gray house, the brown one is where Eddie Murphy lived in a movie called Candy Cane Lane, which was on Amazon about 2 Christmases ago. And then, not the blue one, but the white one is where Ted and John live on the new Ted TV show. It's supposed to be Boston. And then one of our more famous ones, the purple house to your right, is the original Munsters house from the 1960s. The house next to that kind of yellowish one, is where Jimmy Stewart lived in the movie Harvey, where he had a big invisible rabbit friend. I'm going to show everyone a few more examples of things that filmed down there. The first is The Burbs with Tom Hanks. Casper with Christina Ricci. Of course, Nelly's Dilemma music video with Kelly Rowland. And Desperate Housewives. Now, one thing that I love that films on Colonial Street every year, if anyone is familiar with The Voice, sometimes the contestants on The Voice, they'll show you their, like, the houses that they grew up in. No, it's always a house on Colonial Street. We already have a whole bunch of houses here. We're not going to fly them home for like 30 seconds. So, yeah, you can look it up online. There's like a supercut, and it's like the same 10 houses over and over that all the contestants live in. Sorry to ruin reality TV for everybody. Over here to your right, part of Sandra Bullock's movie Bird Box was filmed out there in the little wooded area. We film a lot of camping scenes and hiking out there. And then, coming up on both sides of the vehicle, we're going to see picture cars. These picture cars are screen-used vehicles from a whole mess of movies. So take a look on both sides. On your left, you'll see Harry Potter, the Flintstones, Fast and Furious. On your right, Magnum PI's Ferrari, Biff's car from Back to the Future, some futuristic cars. Oh, Brother, we're out down the back. How They're Gonna Show Christmas. And on the very end, on the left, Bumblebee and Barricade, the Transformers. Now, a lot of these cars can drive around on their own, and some of them, like the Flintstone cars, would get hauled with a cable. It's a little bit easier that way. Now, I have a feeling that there's probably a few of us that are visiting from out of town. If anybody needs a place to stay tonight, I cannot recommend the Bates Motel enough. 12 rooms, usually 12 vacancies. Oh, actually, this is the owner right here. This is Norman Bates. He's been slashing prices recently. Let's see what he's up to. He's probably doing some room cleaning or something. Oh, see, here we go. He's helping that tired woman do her car. Oh, I didn't see anything. Do you guys see anything? No. Oh, he's got a knife. We should probably go. Oh, I'd be worried if I was in the back car. He's getting real close. Somebody in that back row is going to need a new pair of shorts. Hi, Norman. Now, speaking of psychos, the original Psycho house is coming up on your left. This is from the 1960 movie. If you look to the top left window as we pass by, you may see Norman's mother up there. She likes to look out over the motel. If you can see her up there, it's your reminder to wear sunscreen today. It's important. And then right behind the Psycho house is the War of the Worlds crash site set. I'm going to show a clip from the film. Take a look. And yes, this is a real Boeing 747.
An airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steve had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. That's me. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Down close.
So when filming finished, we were out here for a couple weeks filming these scenes. They were supposed to clean everything up, but it was going to cost over $1 million just to clean up and scrap everything. So Paramount, the people who made this movie, made a deal with Universal to leave everything here and add it to our studio tour. It occasionally gets used for like homeowners insurance commercials from some of those houses on your right. But it's a pretty unique set. It doesn't get used a lot. We are now going to head into a different type of alien attack, or encounter, I should say. This one is brought to us by Jordan Peele with his movie Nope. I'm going to play a preview to the film if you haven't seen it, as we visit the sets.
What's up, Studio Tour? I'm Kiki Palmer from Jordan Peele's film, Nope. What's a bad miracle? Well, you'll have to see our movie to answer that one. Until then, I hope you enjoy your visit to Jupiter's Clay.
Did you see a UFO in that cloud?
Yep. No.
I ain't never seen nothing like this.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Welcome to the world of no.
For those of you who have not seen it, this is a science fiction thriller of sorts. I don't want to give any spoilers away. I kind of like to think of this movie as Jaws in the sky. They built a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of great use of sound effects. It is streaming everywhere if you do want to check it out. These sets were added for us to enjoy to the studio tour the same day that it appeared in theaters, which is a studio tour first. And we're still enjoying them today. One more thing I do want to point out in this area, coming up on your right, you're going to see this huge blue wall coming up. Below the wall is this gigantic water basin. We can fill it with millions of gallons of water. I'm going to show you how it gets used on your screens. So the water basin is where Norman hid the car as Psycho. Sorry for spoilers, this 66-year-old movie. But here's a great example of how they use all of it. Jaws the Revenge, the water and the plane and the boat all out there, and then the wall, it was 1987, so they just painted the sky on the wall. Nowadays, they'll use it as a big blue screen or green screen for special effects, which is in the rest of this clip. It gets used pretty frequently. It was used not too long ago. Tom Hanks is always out there too. He loves it. Actually, Sully is a great example too. If you've seen the Sully movie, when the plane is in the Hudson River, it's actually in front of that wall, and then they digitally added New Jersey in the background after the fact. And if you've been in New Jersey, it's the best way to see it, digitally. Yeah. Also, if anyone has seen The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, there's a scene where he's in a sailboat. That is out there. Top Gun Maverick filmed a little out there. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, there's like a big pirate ship battle. That was out in the water. Dunkirk, that gets used again and again. Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls, the music video, you know, the classics. Oh, right up there. Now coming up to your right, we're going to get one last beautiful view of the movie studio and the entire San Fernando Valley. You can see Warner Brothers, not too far out there. Behind Warner Brothers is ABC and Disney, that single tower. You might say they look up to us here at Universal. Some of our filmmaking friends. And then we are about to head back to the theme park. We're just about the end of the tour. We're going to be parked in just a few moments. Once again, we're going to open up these gates for you. Just wait till they're fully open. Watch your step. Please look around. Make sure you have all your belongings. And before we leave, everybody, one last time, let's give it up for Sam for driving us around. We couldn't have done it without her. She's the best. All right. Now, once again, guys, it's been a pleasure. I hope you guys had some fun, maybe learned something along the way. My name is Nick. Once again, I'll be standing over by that digital directory for a few minutes. If you want to come say hey or you got a question, more than happy to help you out. If not, have a great rest of your day at Universal Studios Hollywood. It's been a pleasure.